Breaking news, folks. According to a new report, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, her office was recently flagged for potentially high-risk spending practices. Now, Willis, whose office is leading the prosecution of former President Donald Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in the key swing state of Georgia, has been facing mounting scrutiny from critics ever since she was at the center of a potential ethics violation related to her romantic relationship with a special prosecutor in her office by the name of Nathan Wade. In addition to Donald Trump's election interference case in Georgia, there's another big case being prosecuted by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, where the potential disqualification still looms. Now, the news is that there's finally a prosecutor assigned to investigate Georgia Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who Willis was barred from investigating before she brought her indictment against Donald Trump and several others. Now, it took almost 2 years for a new prosecutor to be assigned to the Jones matter, which involves the fake elector scheme in Georgia election in 2020. But after all of that time, instead of giving the case to a different DA's office, the head of the state prosecutor panel that makes such reassignments will ultimately end up handling it himself. And there was a statement that was released last week from Burt Jones saying, quote, "I'm happy to see this process move forward and look forward to the opportunity to get this charade behind me." End quote. But the Burt Jones situation just highlights just how complicated it can be to get another office or even a prosecutor to handle a high-profile matter. And with Jones, that just involves one person, Burt Jones. Now, just imagine the difficulty of getting a new prosecutor or an office to take on a complex case of a former president and presumptive presidential nominee, along with 14, maybe even 18 other high-profile figures. So the substantial delay in even deciding who will decide what happens with Jones is a reminder that if the defense is able to get Willis disqualified, well, it pretty much puts the entire case in doubt. Now, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis may have just been caught by Representative Jim Jordan. So this comes after a former staffer for Fani Willis was let go back in 2022. 2 years later, and well, it looks like the DA's past is now coming to haunt her. Now, Fani Willis really hasn't been having the best time as of late, as she's faced multiple roadblocks with her goal to get former President Donald Trump jailed. In fact, the judge presiding over her case, Judge Scott McAfee, admitted that there was an issue of her working with prosecutor Nathan Wade. Now, without outright saying it, McAfee hinted that there was a conflict of interest with them working together. And this has led to Nathan Wade recusing himself from the Georgia election interference case, and this has left Fani Willis to fend for herself. But it doesn't end there, because Donald Trump's team believes that the DA herself should also be removed from this case, something that Fani Willis is not exactly thrilled about. But here's what the former president had to say about it recently and how he felt about the DA being kept on the case. Now, before I share this clip with you guys, all I ask is that you guys take 1 second, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you guys. And I want to thank you so much for always sharing these videos on Facebook and on Twitter.
Well, she shouldn't be on our case. She's been totally discredited. It's shocking that she's on our case. Her lover was thrown off the case, and she should be thrown off with him. Fani Willis did this to get vacations. I mean, you take a look at the kind of money. And by the way, she never paid him back in cash. And if she did, she's got a bigger problem, because you can't do that. That's really, she said she took campaign cash and paid him back. You're not allowed to do that. So either way, that's a crime. She's a criminal. So Fani Willis has been totally discredited. That case should end. And I think it's a big insult to Georgia that the case is going forward. I don't know if it's going forward. Nobody knows that. But if it does go forward, it's a big insult to Georgia. She is a corrupt individual. He was corrupt. She was corrupt. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And I suspect that case is going to be terminated because it has absolutely no credibility.
Do you guys agree with Donald Trump here? Now, with regards to that worker that Fani Willis fired, she was actually trying to help the DA. She warned Fani Willis that her office was attempting to misuse a $488,000 federal grant. What was the money going to be used for? Well, it was said to be used to buy swag, computers, and travel. The grant is now being investigated by the Justice Department's Office of Justice Programs, as they say that there's a lot of discrepancies from the DA's office. So this staffer, Amanda Timpson, initially initially wanted to help Fani Willis, or at least that's what it looked like. She wanted to warn her that the grant money from the federal government was being misused, but instead of thanking her and taking action, Fani Willis removed her from her position. Now, Timpson was actually escorted out of her office by 7 armed guards. Wild, right? Now, I'm not sure if this was to intimidate her, but it's clear that Fani Willis, there was some corruption, and clearly she wasn't all that happy with this particular whistleblower. Now, the discrepancies came from Fani Willis's office herself. This is because there was contradictory statements regarding awards that Fani Willis's office may have made under the grant. And we talked about how Fani Willis wanted to use this money to buy fancy computers, swag, and travel, right? I don't even know what swag is. Anyway, I know what swag is, but I don't know what they mean by swag in this case. Well, as it turns out, this money was supposed to be used to create a center for youth empowerment and gang prevention in Atlanta. So the grant ended September last year, but it's 2024 now, and well, the center never opened. And so this has led House Judiciary Committee Chairman Representative Jim Jordan to investigate how Fani Willis used these federal grant funds. She was subpoenaed in early February, but responded with a very narrow set of documents that almost had nothing to do with what was being alleged against her. Jordan threatened to even hold her in contempt of Congress, but the DA wasn't having it. She said that Jordan's request was unreasonable and uncustomary. So she added that Jim Jordan was only doing this to essentially derail her election interference case against Donald Trump. Now, I'm not sure why she couldn't be able to procure documents that she should have already had, unless, of course, maybe she's lying about how or where they used the money. But this has critics of the DA saying that she's deflecting and is trying to use her case against Donald Trump as sort of a shield, because many analysts believe that Jordan's request was actually reasonable. Is it weird that they would want to know where our taxpayer money went? Now, I know a lot of folks who would appreciate being informed about where our tax money is going. Now, Willis supposedly made sub-award payments to the Offender Alumni Association, which is an Alabama-based charity staffed by former prison inmates. Now, what's odd is that they weren't really sure if they got any money, as the answer to the question, it kind of changes depending upon who you ask. Their administrative director, Tony Barnett, was reportedly asked about a transfer from Willis's office to their group. She said that she had no idea where this information was coming from, and that she has no idea what anyone's even talking about. Now, it's weird though, because their co-founder and chief operating officer have yet to return any comment from previous requests. Does this mean that they're guilty? It's just kind of hard to tell, but it's not a good sign when people suddenly just stop talking, you know what I mean? But here's what makes this very, very interesting. So the Justice Department said that the federal authorities had no records of money being provided to the Offender Alumni Association. But then something very surprising happened. The Fulton County records show that they provided a sub-payment of $89,900 to the group. This then led to the Justice Department changing their story on the fly. They said that they just made an error and then suddenly found that Offender Alumni Association was included as a Fulton County sub-guarantee. They then proceeded to apologize for their mistake and kind of scurried off. Now, you got to think that there was something fishy probably going on here. Something just doesn't smell right, and it's not the odor of mendacity. Critics are saying that this is the odor of corruption. But here's what many people believe will happen here. Even if corruption is proven, and even if there's proof that Willis used federal funds to enrich herself or Nathan Wade, the expectation is that Judge McAfee probably won't do anything. Even though it's easy to argue that a corrupt DA would probably do a lot of questionable deeds given her scope of power. Now, guys, that was the news portion of today's video. Now I would like to thank Calibre Mining for sponsoring today's video. So Calibre Mining Corporation, together with its subsidiaries, engages in the exploration, development, and mining of gold properties in Nicaragua, the United States, and Canada. It primarily explores gold, silver, and copper deposits. Calibre Mining is focused on expanding rapidly and emphasizing profitability. In 2024, the company aims to produce between 275,000 to 300,000 ounces of gold. Their production costs are estimated to be between $1,075 and $1,175 per ounce, with overall expenses ranging from $1,275 to $1,375 per ounce. They plan to invest $45 to $55 million in growth initiatives and another $25 to $30 million in exploring for new gold deposits. By the end of 2023, Calibre Mining expects to have $86 million in cash reserves. Now take a look at your screen. At the time of this recording, Calibre Mining mining trades on the TSX exchange under ticker symbol CXB and on the OTCQX under symbol CXBMF. Investors should always do their own due diligence, and I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. At the Valentine Gold Mine, Calibre Mining is constructing what will be the largest open pit mine in Atlantic Canada, which will contribute approximately 195,000 ounces to their production. Now, the mine has significant reserves, with 4 million ounces classified as measured and indicated, and an additional 1.1 million ounces inferred. The first gold extraction from this site is projected for the first half of 2025. Now, Calibre Mining also emphasizes diversification in its portfolio, with 60% of its net asset value derived from high-quality locations in Newfoundland and in Nevada. Recent explorations at the Valentine site have revealed substantial potential for further high-grade gold discoveries. Results have included several high-concentration gold finds over various lengths within the mine. Now, historically, Calibre Mining has delivered $5 billion in value to its shareholders prior to the current project. The company maintains a strong commitment to its goals and aligns very closely with shareholder interests. For the year 2024, Calibre Mines plans extensive exploration activities, including drilling over 130 kilometers across sites in Newfoundland, Nicaragua, and Nevada. They also have additional milling capacity capable of processing over 1 million tons per year. Now, since the fourth quarter of 2019, Calibre has significantly improved its performance. The company increased its gold production by 28% from last year, reaching 283,494 ounces in 2023. Their gold reserves have grown dramatically from where they were back in late 2019, even after accounting for the 825,000 ounces that they've already mined, now standing at 4.1 million ounces. Their cash on hand has soared to $86 million, up from $4 million after investing $40 million in Marathon Gold toward the end of 2023. Calibre has also launched a 5-year plan focused on sustainable practices and expanded its operations by acquiring assets in Nevada in January of 2022 and the Valentine Gold Mine in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada in January 2024. Calibre sees a lot of potential for finding and increasing their gold resources. In Nicaragua, they've just found expanded areas of high-quality gold along the VTEM corridor. In Nevada, the areas just north and south of their current operations show promise for more and better quality gold. In Canada, an 8-kilometer drilling project is ongoing along a 32-kilometer long zone at Valentine, and another new area near the Leprechaun Pit is being explored with a 100-kilometer drilling project. Additionally, they have the capacity to process 1 million tons of materials annually in Nicaragua, and they see potential to double their production in Nevada with the development of the Gold Rock project. Calibre's operations in Nicaragua have a long history of success in the Limon and Libertad mining districts. These areas have already produced over 6 million ounces of gold, and Calibre is consistently improving their results every quarter. They've managed to increase their gold reserves by 295%. Their operational strategy focuses on smoothing out any inefficiencies and fully utilizing isolated mining areas. They have a quick and cost-effective approach to turning exploration successes into actual production. The milling facilities have a capacity of 2.7 million tons, and they're currently using about 70% of this capacity. Calibre is also focused on growth. They've shown that they can develop new mines quickly, taking less than 18 months from obtaining the necessary permits to starting production. In 2023, they advanced the development of the Eastern Borosi as the next significant mining operation. New discoveries have been announced at Limon and Libertad involving sites like Pantheon, the VTEM corridor, and Vulcan. Currently, over 100 kilometers of exploration drilling is in progress, pointing to potential future expansions. In Nicaragua, Calibre has achieved significant growth in the quality and the amount of gold that they produce. Since 2020, the gold's purity, which is measured in grams per ton, has increased by 45%. The company's facilities in Nicaragua have a total milling capacity of 2.7 million tons per year, with the Limon site handling 0.5 million tons and the Libertad site handling 2.2 million tons. The Libertad site also has over 1 million tons of unused capacity, setting a strong foundation for future increases in production and profits. Calibre has consistently demonstrated its capability to quickly get the necessary permissions to mine new gold sources and to turn exploration success successes into production efficiently. This approach to growth requires relatively low investment, but it offers high returns, indicating a promising future for further expanding their operations in Nicaragua. Calibre Mining's operations in Nevada, specifically along the Battle Mountain Eureka Trend, have seen significant development and discovery progress. Since acquiring the Pan Mine in 2021, they have increased their gold reserves by over 50%, even after accounting for the gold that they've already extracted. Nearby, the Gold Rock project, which is just 13 kilometers away from the existing Pan infrastructure, is also advancing well. It has received federal approval for development, and Calibre is moving forward with drilling, detailed technical evaluations, and obtaining necessary state permits. In 2024, Calibre Mining expects continued growth in their operations. They're projecting to produce between 275,000 and 300,000 ounces of gold. The company plans to invest $45 to $55 million in further growth and $25 to $30 million in exploring for more gold. The Valentine gold mine is a key asset for them, holding substantial mineral resources. It has 2.7 million ounces in mineral reserves, 4 million ounces in measured and indicated resources, and 1.1 million ounces in inferred resources. The mine is expected to produce an average of 195,000 ounces of gold annually at a cost of about $1,007 per ounce for the next 12 years. Looking further ahead, Calibre plans to increase their consolidated production to between 400 and 500,000 ounces by 2025. Approximately 60% of the company's total assets are based in North America. At the Valentine mine, drilling has found gold in areas not previously included in the mineral reserves, offering more potential for the mine. Detailed drilling around the known Leprechaun gold reserves has confirmed and increased the security of the project, showing a 15% increase in the amount of ore and a 12% rise in gold content compared to the previous year's estimates. Further exciting discoveries include high-quality gold deposits extending southwest toward an area called Frank, suggesting that there could be a significant increase in resources. Some of the standout drilling results in this direction include very high gold grades, such as 46.53 grams per ton over a length of 5.3 meters, and other impressive findings down to 8.82 grams per ton over 4 meters. The Valentine area has a lot of potential for further exploration. So far, 5 significant deposits with mineral resources have been identified. 3 of these deposits, Leprechaun, Marathon, and Berry, they're included in the current life of mine plan, which is the plan for how the mine will operate over its expected life. Now, the other 2 deposits, Sprite and Victory, they're not currently on the LOM or life of mine plan. In 2024, Calibre Mining plans to continue drilling at the Leprechaun and Frank sites and will also conduct a broader exploration across the property. This will include geophysical surveys, trenching, digging shallow ditches to expose the underlying soil and rock, and more drilling to better understand the possibility and expand the mineral resources available. So be sure to click the link in the description down below this video to learn more about Calibre Mining.